Hey guys, how's it going? So today I thought I'd share with you one of my favorite little Bloc weapons, and this will be my Bulgarian Makarov. And these were originally designed and started production right around the late 40s, early 50s in Soviet Russia. And just like many other Bloc weapons, shortly thereafter they started to give tooling and rights to the fellow satellite states under the Iron Curtain, if you will. So this one here is a Bulgarian, originally designed by Soviet Russia, also produced by countries such as China, East Germany, and this one here is a Bulgarian. I'm going to give you guys a little information about the pistol itself, and then tell you actually kind of the unique little story about this specific example right here. And I'm going to be referencing a great book that I recommend all of you get if you're into Bloc weapons, and this is the Communist Bloc Handguns book. I'm going to leave a link down in the description to my Amazon store. You can purchase it there through Amazon, and it also helps out the channel if you purchase this book, or quite frankly anything you buy. If you just click on the link, you could buy something for your computer, and it's still going to help support the channel and cost you nothing. But this is an awesome book. It has information on this specific Bulgarian Makarov, and in just a minute I'm going to get to something cool here, so stay tuned for that in just a couple minutes. So, the Bulgarian Makarov. This is an all-steel construction with Bakelite grips. These are the nice old-school type Bakelite that so many of you guys like from Russia and other Bloc countries. It is kind of modeled after the German PP, if you will, the police pistol. And when I break it down in a minute, you're going to kind of see why. This features a fixed barrel that's about 3.68 inches long. It feeds from a single stack with a Soviet-style heel release on the bottom. This was a very popular European-style mag release. From 8 rounds in this single stack magazine. It fires the 9mm Makarov. And just for those of you that aren't familiar, in the United States and many other countries, we're very familiar with we would call it regular 9mm or the 9x19, 9mm Luger, 9mm Parabellum, 9mm NATO. These are all the same type cartridge, right? So this is the 9x19, originally developed in Germany over 100 years ago. And this is basically a 9mm projectile with a 19mm long case, and the actual measurement of this projectile is 0.355. Now, let's skip over to the 9mm Makarov round, which is what this pistol is chambered in. Now, this is what's referred to as the 9x18. So that means that the case is 1mm shorter, so just a little bit shorter case. And you're going to notice the shape and profile of the bullet is completely different. The standard plinking ammo that we shoot for the regular 9 is usually 115 grains, as seen here. This particular loading is a 95 grain 9mm projectile, but not quite, because see, the regular 9mm that we're used to, I'm just calling it regular for common sense terms, right, is a .355 bullet. This is actually a .365 bullet. So though it's lighter weight, it's actually fatter, larger in diameter than the 9mm that we're used to. So these are definitely not interchangeable whatsoever, and that's what gives us this short, squat profile, because we have a lighter grain weight and an actual wider diameter. So here's an example of the 9mm Makarov, and although loadings can drastically change, this is generally considered to be obviously a little bit weaker than the 9mm Luger or Parabellum, but a little more powerful than a 380. And that's just in general terms, because there's many modern 380s that are loaded a little hotter. But if you go by conventional military loadings, this sits kind of in between a 9 and a 380, if you will. So this is the cartridge. I thought you guys might think it's interesting if you're not familiar. And I'm sure there's those of you that know more about this cartridge than me, so I won't dwell on that. So 8 rounds of this 9mm Makarov, which is certainly a potent round and was used by many militaries and police for decades, and is still used in some places in Europe today. So this is actually a round that, in my opinion, there's some defensive loadings, would probably be adequate for self-defense, but you need to be your own judge on what you want to use to defend yourself. But this cartridge has a little bit of power to it, in my opinion. Alright. So like I said earlier, these guns are really nice. The fit and finish of it is great. No machining marks. High polished steel with a nice bluing. And what I always thought was cool about these is if you look at the safety and decocker here, which I'll show you that in 1 second, and the hammer, they have that cool like case hardened purple look to them that almost matches these Bakelite grips. So pretty sharp little pistol overall. It's very compact, just enough room for me to get a full pinky and a full hand grip here on the pistol. There's a little bit of a forward ledge that acts as a pinky rest on the bottom of the magazine, and I find this pistol to actually be quite comfortable. Easy to carry, easy to conceal, a pleasure to shoot. I would note this is a hammer-fired pistol, and if you choke up too much like you might do on some of your modern guns with large beaver tails, you could run into a little hammer bite, but for me, the Bulgarian Makarov, I don't have that problem, so very comfortable to shoot. With this being an all-steel gun, it has a decent amount of weight to it, so the recoil is actually not bad, even though this is a somewhat snappy little cartridge, the 9x18 Makarov. The nice feature about these Makarovs is unlike some of the other little PP style ones from Hungary and other countries that do not have it, this actually has a slide release. You're going to find your Polish P64 chambered in 9x18 also doesn't have that, but I really like that feature because it can be kind of a pain in the butt to have to drop your magazine every time you want to close your slide, right? So there you go. This pistol will fire in double action, which reminds me a lot of a double action revolver trigger. At least on this particular one, this has a very nice trigger. High poundage, which is what it was designed to be, as with most double actions, but rather smooth and a rather clean break. Now, we can also fire this in single action by either cocking the hammer if you want to start off your first round in single action. And we're just going to see a teeny bit of take up here, and then it breaks rather clean. Still not a super light trigger pull because this is a military surplus firearm, but a very good trigger, and I think the trigger is perfect for like a combat type weight trigger. So generally we don't want hair triggers in any type of combat or even like police work, which is what these pistols were designed for and what they were for the most part used for. So trigger's good on it. Everything on this just feels very high quality. I really like the aesthetics of it. And these are actually available, I've noticed, again in the United States. These have come and gone, and Bulgaria officially stopped making these around 2007 or so. And they come, and then they go, and every time they come back in the country, it's just like all milsurps. They go back up in price. These today are a little over $300. I remember when they were available for $60, $70, $80. Not too awfully long ago, but I don't think we're ever going to see that price again. So are they worth the $300 to $350 that I'm seeing them coming on the market for today? You can decide that. But I certainly think if you were to buy a modern produced firearm of this high a quality with this much fit and finish, you probably would pay that much, if not more. These are really nice guns. And I've noticed that as of right now, when I'm doing this video, they could sell out tomorrow, guys. I always get people coming to my videos a year later. You lied, they're not available. No, guys, this changes. This is just how military surplus stuff happens. They could sell out tomorrow. They could sell out in a month. We could get more shipments in this country. We might not. You milsurp guys know what I'm talking about. But right now, I saw DK Firearms has these. Centerfire Systems has these, and a few other websites. So just do yourself a Google search, or you can check out one of those two places, who I have no affiliation with. I just thought I'd do a little research for you guys and let you know that I saw DK and Centerfire Systems do have these available right now for like between $300 and $350. So there you go. Alright, let's take a look real quick. We have a slide mounted safety. So if we have the firearm in single action, we're going to swipe up, and I'll move my finger out of the way. See, it's always hard to do this on camera. And you'll see this is actually a decocker. So let's try that one more time. We're going to put it down into fire. You can see the little red dot indicating the firearm's hot. cock the hammer back into single action, get my finger out of the trigger guard. I could edit it out, guys, but I'll just let you laugh at me. Alright, we're going to press up on this safety and watch it move the trigger forward, decock the firearm, and now we're on safe. The trigger is stopped. You cannot move it in the rearward position. Now we can come back, and we could either fire our first shot in double action, and then when the slide would cycle, it would put us back into single action. Or, if we had our pistol in single action, and there was a round in the chamber, we could decock. Look, with any milsurp gun, always decock in a safe direction, guys. Still point it down range. Rules of gun safety always apply. The decockers on these are usually fairly reliable, but still treat it as though you're pulling the trigger. Just saying. So if we were in single action, halfway through the mag, we could decock it. And if we wanted our first shot to be single action, we could just come right back and grab onto that hammer spur right there and put it back into single action for a nice, easy, lesser poundage first shot. So, pretty cool. The sights are nothing special, but they're okay for a little pocket pistol. You know, we just have a single notch rear sight and a front sight post that is integrated into the slide. We can see how the barrel interfaces with the front of the pistol. Rather flush, just protrudes slightly there. So, pretty nice styling on this, by the way. I really like the lines. It has just enough curviness to it and just enough blockiness to it where it just looks cool. What do you guys think? Do you like the look of these Makarovs? Love the purple heat treating, by the way. It just matches these grips like so good. So there we go. Now let's go ahead and I'm just going to take it down real quick, which is pretty easy to field strip one of these. And this is where you're going to see it has definitely some inspiration of the former Walther police pistol, the PP, right? So we're going to come down here. These slide releases, they're a little bit, or magazine releases are a little bit of a pain in the butt. So we're going to depress this. It's going to pop out a little bit. I usually use that little pinky ledge as an aid to pull it out. So there we go. Magazine's clear. Firearm is clear. And we're going to look at the trigger guard, and it hinges back here on this pin. And we're going to pull the trigger guard down from the dust cover portion of the receiver and off to the side. And you're going to see it's just going to rest right there. See the hole that it normally sits in, the little square hole? We're just going to let it rest on the side of the frame. We're going to pull the slide to the rear, up on an angle. Keep pressure on the slide because it's under spring tension, okay? And just let it come forward nice and easy. Now our slide is off of the pistol. There's not much more to do here. Clean your barrel, obviously. There is a spring here that can be taken off of the barrel. Note the one end is fatter than the other end. Always put the narrow end on first and have it where the fat end of the spring, where the coils are wider, towards the front. And there you go. This has a fixed barrel, which leads to inherently better accuracy. Maybe a little less muzzle flip because you don't have a reciprocation of the barrel. And that's one of the features a lot of people like about the Makarov design or the police pistol design from Germany. So there you go. This should not be taken apart, none of the trigger stuff, unless you're an armorer or a gunsmith, and basically just clean the inside of it. You can lightly oil the outside of your barrel because this spring does reciprocate on the barrel. And clean your barrel and chamber there, and you're pretty much good to go. Putting it back on is the same as the reverse. The fat side of the spring just goes up front into this little pocket. You're going to come in on the same kind of angle, fish the barrel through the end. It's just starting to poke out. Keep bringing it back, and then just kind of down and over. It's just kind of a feel thing, but basically all you're doing is bringing it up on an angle so you get it all the way to the back, put it down, let it go into battery, and we're now just going to take our trigger guard and slightly move it over. Goes back in to the bottom of the receiver, and this is what's going to lock the slide on, and we're good to go. So we're going to test it real quick here. Slide's functioning perfectly. Single action, double action, cock the hammer. Our decocker's working. We're good to go. We're going to insert our empty magazine. Okay, I'm going to show you one more thing, then I'm going to tell you the unique story about this pistol. So sometimes you'll find these for sale with like a black what they call target grips. That's due to a weird law that has to do with importation of pistols. You can look this up on your own, but there's a point system. They have to have a certain size, certain features, target grips, target sights, things like that, length of barrel, and they have to get certain points. These are right on the border of enough points to get into the United States. It has to do with these stupid, and in my opinion, racist Saturday Night Special laws that were put into place in the U.S. But I digress. So, if you find these with the black target grips, now these have the correct Bakelite Bloc grips on them. Don't fret too much, because here's an extra set of grips, right? They're the same style that's on here, and I bought these fairly recently on eBay for about 20 bucks. Comes with the screw and everything. This particular one I bought. You can generally find these around $20 or so on eBay or Gunbroker, or maybe it's your local gun shop. So if you find it with the black grips and you want to make it look original, these are generally still available at the time of filming this video, obviously, and they're not going to cost you a fortune, and this really makes the pistol look better. Now this one, I was fortunate enough that this came into the country with the proper Bakelite grips. Alright, so about this pistol specifically, this is an all numbers matching pistol, the magazine, the slide, the receiver, and we're going to look at the markings here, and we're going to see this is a Circle 10, this is the Bulgarian Arsenal marking, and the bluing's so shiny it's hard for it to focus, but there's our Circle 10, a couple Cyrillic letters, 28, 2058. And how you date these Bulgarian Makarovs is you take the year 1960 and you add this first number to 1960. So with this being a 28, this was made in 1988. This particular pistol arrived to me unused and unissued, and although it's a Bulgarian Makarov, this specific one came to the United States via Slovenia, the country that was formerly part of Yugoslavia, and also the home country to our current First Lady, Melania Trump. So this came from Slovenia, from the Slovenian Ministry of Defense. And what's cool about this specific import, PW Arms brought these in from about 2004 to 2011, all right? And most of these were in like excellent or even unissued and unused condition. And this was the time when people like Century and other companies were putting like these huge billboards just covering the whole slide with the required import marks, right? Well, PW Arms did a very small, subtle import marking as required by law, kind of nested in between the grip and the slide. And these are one of the most unobtrusive import markings that were available from this lot of pistols from Slovenia. And here's what's cool about this book. I told you I'd get back to the book. First of all, this book is awesome, guys. It covers almost everything. And let me know down in the comments, if any of you guys are Bloc buffs, there's just so many different firearms in here from so many different countries. I actually own most of these. If you guys want to do a real geeky Milcert video, I can flip through this book and show you guys the pages in it, and probably a firearm to represent about 3/4 of what's in this book. So if that sounds fun some other day, you know, let me know. But right now I'm in the Bulgarian section of this book where it's featuring the Makarov. Lots of information, lots of nice color photos. And let's flip to the second page here, because you're going to see I referenced earlier the dating scheme, which is right here. It shows you that if it's in 1970, you would have the number 10. And you can see where I came up with 28 is 1988. So this nice chart's in here. Also, this picture here with the little sidebar description describes the exact pistol that I showed you guys. So I'm gonna show you real quick here. If you want to pause, you might be able to read that on your own. If not, I'll read it to you real quick here. Imported by PW Arms, Redmond, Washington. This Bulgarian Makarov is dated 1988 and appears to be unfired and unissued, and is one of about 1,300 released sometime between 2004 and 2011 by the Slovenian Ministry of Defense for sale and export to the United States. The PW Arms import markings required by law are as unobtrusive as possible. So there you go. They're actually talking about that story. For you Mosin buffs, they're also telling you a story about Mr. Dimitri that's mentioned in this article here, talking about the Mosin 9159s and how Bulgaria became involved in the 9159 Mosin project. So there's some pretty cool stuff in here. This is about handguns. It's going to show you detailed pictures of accessories, holsters, all this stuff. And I just thought it was so cool because I had known previously, due to the serial number range, the overall condition, that this was indeed one of the Slovenian Ministry of Defense imports that came into the country, 10, 15 years ago. But to actually see it in a book like this, to document it, was pretty cool. Because I don't know about you guys, but I not only like enjoying shooting and looking at these surplus firearms, but I like the stories behind them. And to know that this came from Bulgaria to Slovenia for their Ministry of Defense to the United States just adds another story to this and makes it interesting. Especially with our First Lady being from the relatively former Yugoslavian country of Slovenia. And I'm really into the Yugo firearms, as you guys probably already know. So I thought it's kind of cool. This is a Bulgarian slash kind of sort of Yugoslavian slash Slovenian firearm here. Well, there's probably a lot more I could talk about the Makarov itself, but I think this kind of covers the basics, and just figured I'd share you guys the unique story of this pistol. Maybe you guys have one of these that's in this serial number range with this PW Arms import marking, and if you do, maybe now you know a story about your firearm that you never knew before. And I think it's pretty cool that this book documented it. And one more time, I love this book. It's such a great book. Czech firearms, CZ52. We're going through here. Hungary, China, even North Korea, Poland. For you Polish firearms fans, I mean, the WZ-33. Just all kinds of cool stuff. The P64, I've shown that in videos before. We could have a lot of fun with this book if you guys want a rather long and geeky Bloc handguns video. This stuff's right up my alley. The Polish P83 Wanad pistol. I've got one of those, guys. And some of you have told me before you're into Yugoslavian firearms. Let me know, because I'm kind of into them too, and I have quite a few. And I'll just show you guys a quick teaser just to see if there's any interest. I've noticed the Mosin Crate. I subscribe to their channel. I just got an alert. They have some of these in stock, the Yugoslavian CZ99 surplus pistols. I've got a couple of these, including the South African version, the TZ. So if there's a decent amount of interest in this, maybe I could do a video on these CZ99. Krvina Zastava CZ, not the Czech CZ. So these are interesting firearms with some history behind them. South Africa made a version that's kind of relatively unknown. I have one of those too, so let me know. CZ99, this is another pistol that's just become available in the United States again. And if you guys haven't noticed, I'm always trying to let you guys know when this stuff's available, because I've enjoyed collecting milsurps for so long, and the more of us that are into this stuff, the better. I'm not one of those that hopes I can have them all for myself. No, I've just been collecting them slowly but surely over the years. Unfortunately, prices have gone up. I was lucky to get into this in the early 90s, or I couldn't afford a tenth of the collection I have, because I'm not well-to-do. But guys that are just getting into this stuff, some of these pistols are still rather affordable, and I see the price is still going up. So I'm always trying to let you guys know when stuff's available right now. Just don't get mad at me when it sells out, because this has been happening since the early 90s. Some of you guys have been collecting longer than me. I'll probably tell me it's been happening before that, but the stuff comes in the country, it's cheap, then it leaves. Every time another shipment comes back, it adds up a little more, and then before you know it, you just can't get them anymore. So these are available at the filming of this video right now, and I think they're really neat little pistols and kind of a basis of any type of Bloc milsurp collection, I would say. Very, very important firearm throughout the Bloc, and like I said, these Bulgarians are pretty good examples. Basically a direct clone of a Russian, just with different markings on it, quite frankly. And they produced these for the consumer market all the way up to about 2007. So you can find consumer versions of these, also chambered in .380, that have no military or police provenance. They were just made to export to the U.S. But those are also great little pistols, and probably on Gunbroker you can find those. So the correct military cartridge, 9x18 Makarov, but these are also available in .380 that were made for civilian sales up until about 13 years ago. Alright, hopefully you guys enjoyed this pistol. Let me know if you guys have a Makarov, what you think of it, and if you thought it was interesting, that little story of this coming from the little country of Slovenia. And thankfully this book actually documents that story as well as many others. Again, I'm going to leave the link down in the description for that. One more thing, PHPMV. I also have one of those. Let me know if you guys want to see Yugoslavian pistols. We could have fun. Might be a long video, but it'll be a fun one. Czech pistols, that video is already coming up very soon. So if you guys are into Czech pistols, you're not going to be waiting much longer, because I'm going to have some Czech pistols, as well as, quick teaser, the VZ52 rifle. And hold on a minute. How about this? You guys haven't seen this yet. A VZ52 57. Chambered in 7.62 by 39. So, a couple of you have been waiting very patiently for Czech pistols, Czech rifles. You're not going to have to wait too much longer, guys. This is going to be coming out very soon. Alright? This video went a little bit long. I kind of do these videos for my fellow gun geeks, milsurp guys that kind of like a little bit longer video to listen to on the ride home and stuff. I get it. These long videos aren't for everybody, but you know what? I love doing this stuff, and I do this channel for fun, and I have to keep it fun for me, and hopefully some of you guys like some of these little bit longer detailed videos, because that's kind of what I like to do sometimes. So, alright, let me know what you guys think of this Makarov and some of the other rifles and pistols I showed you guys. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.